you a snack?
What?
The movie kicks off with a conversation happening over the phone between a group of friends. One of the girls, Athena, sends a message to let everyone know that the day of the hunt is getting closer. After that, we get introduced to a group of people who seem to be involved in Athena's plans. A man arrives at the scene, and as soon as the others see him, they start freaking out. They manage to calm him down and lay him on the ground, but then, out of nowhere, he grabs a pen and stabs it into his neck. Despite the injury, he doesn't give up and continues fighting with whatever strength he has left. The chaos this causes Athena to wake up. She grabs a heel from her shoes and stabs it into his eye, ending his life. A guy from the group takes care of his body after that. Next, we're shown a girl waking up in a forest with her mouth tied up, using a belt. There are other people in the same situation as her. She tries to talk to one of the girls, but that girl just runs away. So, she follows a man and eventually comes to a large open area. There's a huge wooden box in the middle. One of the men tries to open it, but everyone panics and runs away, not knowing what's inside. Suddenly, a small pig pops out of the box. They soon realize that there's a tray of weapons inside, and everyone rushes to grab them. The girl spots a key lying nearby and uses it to unlock everyone's belts. But just then, gunshots start ringing out, and one of the girls is the first to fall. Another girl tries to run for her life, but ends up falling into a pit full of spikes. A man manages to save her, but as they start running again, he steps on a mine that explodes, killing both of them. Another man is also running for his life when he comes across a huge barricade wrapped with wires. Some of the others make it over the wires by covering them with their clothes, and 3 people manage to get through. However, when another man attempts to cross, someone starts shooting arrows at them. He tries to chase after the shooter, but ends up getting hit with a few arrows, and then someone throws 2 grenades at him, killing him instantly. The remaining 3 survivors run to a convenience store and take refuge inside. One of the men investigates and finds out that they're in Arkansas. The shopkeeper, clearly terrified, tells them they can take anything they need, but it's clear something is off. The man calls the police to explain the situation, but as they're trying to get a grip on things, one of the female survivors starts snacking on some food from the store. However, after a while, she begins choking and collapses to the floor. It turns out that the food was poisoned. In a moment of realization, they look up and see the shopkeeper wearing a mask, and then the entire store is filled with poisonous gas. One of the men tries to shoot the shopkeeper, but he shoots back, and all 3 of them end up dead. The female shopkeeper proceeds to clean up the bodies, mopping up the blood and tidying up the place. Just when things seem to calm down, a woman named Crystal walks into the store and asks about the location. She buys a pack of cigarettes, but when she gets her change, something feels off to her, so she shoots both the shopkeepers. She then collects some ammo from the store before heading outside. She notices a car and removes its license plate, revealing a different one underneath. The information confirms the location was incorrect. What's even crazier is that the car was rigged with a bomb. Thanks to a walkie-talkie she stole from the store owners, she's able to overhear some things. Hiding behind a bush, she spots a drone approaching. Then, a man named Gary arrives and starts heading toward the car. Crystal warns him about the bomb, and they both start walking away from the area. As they do, a train passes by them, and Crystal manages to catch up to it, even pulling Gary onto the train with her. On board, they find a group of refugees, but Gary is suspicious of their intentions. He warns Crystal that they might not be trustworthy, but Crystal decides to trust them anyway. However, before anything can be resolved, the train comes to a sudden halt, leaving everyone uncertain about what's going to happen next. When some soldiers stop the group and start searching the passengers, Gary tries to warn them, telling the soldiers that the refugees aren't who they say they are, but they ignore him and move on. One of the men approaches Gary, predicting that no one will believe his words. The man speaking English gets under Gary's skin, and that's when the man admits that everyone in the group is legit except for him. It turns out he's an actor and part of the group of hunters working with the soldiers. Gary gets enraged by this revelation and punches the guy. To make matters worse, he shoves a grenade down the guy's pants, which eventually blows up, killing him. Later, the soldiers take Crystal and a few other female refugees to a camp. There, she meets an elderly man who was once a prisoner but managed to escape. Just as things are starting to settle, another man enters the camp and joins Crystal and the old guy. He starts praising the hunters, which sets off alarm bells for Crystal. Eventually, she gets suspicious and kicks him out of the car, running him over, ending his life. The old man gets really upset, scolding Crystal for what she just did, arguing that this man could have been their last hope for understanding what was going on and how to escape. However, when they open the car's trunk, they find Gary's lifeless body, and that's when they realize it was the right decision. The old man tells Crystal that all the other prisoners brought to the camp have already been killed, leaving just the two of them alive. With that grim realization, Crystal declares that she will make the people responsible for trapping them pay. She shares her own version of the classic story of the tortoise and the hare, but with a twist at the end, showing her determination to change how things turn out. Meanwhile, we learn about the hidden location where the prisoners were taken, and it's revealed that the hunters, including their trainer and leader, Athena, are all gathered there. When they arrive, the man with Crystal discovers a piglet and uses it to distract the hunters. With the hunters' attention diverted, Crystal takes the opportunity to start taking them out, one by one. However, the trainer is still alive and manages to put up a tough fight against Crystal. Despite the intense battle, she eventually defeats him. In the middle of all this, Athena reaches out to the old man and asks if he's taken care of Crystal. This causes Crystal to doubt the old man's loyalty, fearing that he might be working with Athena. Without giving him a chance to prove himself, she kills him. She then approaches an injured soldier and demands to know where Athena is. He tells her the location, but Crystal kills him too. The movie then takes us back to a flashback that explains why the hunters are doing what they do. Athena's conversation with a friend is shown, where she casually talks about the concept of hunters as if it's some kind of prank. This conversation was leaked by Crystal and the other prisoners, and the leak resulted in Athena and her group being fired from their jobs. What began as a joke turned serious when they lost everything, and they decided to turn their pranks into a nightmare. Seeking revenge, they captured the people involved in the leak and orchestrated the whole thing to get back at them. When Crystal finally makes it to Athena's location, she finds her cooking. The two of them start talking, and Athena claims to know everything about Crystal, even mocking her family background. In response, Crystal reveals that she's not the Crystal Athena has been searching for, and that she's brought the wrong person. The two women then engage in an epic battle, hurting each other and falling to the ground, but neither one backs down. They get up and keep fighting until Crystal emerges victorious, and Athena is defeated. As Athena lies lifeless on the ground, Crystal notices a rabbit nearby, confirming the story she had shared with the old man earlier. It turns out that in the story, Crystal was the tortoise, and Athena was the hare. With Athena gone, Crystal stands up, helps herself to the meal Athena had made, and then puts on her clothes, taking Athena's place. With her dog by her side, she leaves, boards her private jet, and gives the pilot the signal to take off. The movie ends with Crystal's journey coming full circle as she gets her revenge and takes control of the situation. Thank you so much for watching.